right now where the children are with mom one full week and then they're with dad the next full week. Happens that they live within the same school district,
Right.
so it works out. Most of the shared residential cases are not exactly a straight 50-50 arrangement because due to transportation or logistics issues, it just doesn't happen that way. It might be 40-60 or 45-55 percentage-wise. In those cases, the people have a fairly workable and open communication arrangement where they're able to talk to each other and work out individual problems, extracurricular activities, who's going to drive Susie to dance class, who's going to drive Bobby to basketball practice. They work it out.
Now, I've also seen, even on those more traditional arrangements, that that alternate weekend is running from Friday after school and not always ending on Sunday evenings, but going into Monday morning.
I see more and more of that.
Yeah, and that gives the alternate parent, the parent of alternate residents, the 3 nights, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night.
Right.
And that's on alternate weeks. Right. And then there's another, either an evening or an overnight midweek. So both parents are getting to see their children frequently.
It seems that way. It seems to be, I suppose if you could chart it out, there's a progression there. It's kind of evolving more and more to that direction as time goes by.
Now, you mentioned experts before. Suppose people can't agree, right? What happens to them first in the process? I think there's a mandatory mediation, right?
Court rule says in any case where there is where custody is contested or parenting time is contested, the first stop is mediation, and there is a family court mediation program service available both in Morris County through the court in Morristown and Sussex County through the courthouse in Newton. And that's a free program. All you have to do is show up and hopefully have a positive attitude. And even before that, though, there is mandatory in matrimonial cases a parent education program that both parents are required to attend.
Describe that a little bit. That's an interesting program.
Basically, it's the first stop after the divorce complaint has been filed and an answer or appearance has been filed by the defendant. The case is scheduled for a parent education program, and in all counties throughout the state, the parents are required to attend and listen to a presentation by family court staff, and usually there is a psychologist who provides evaluations to family court judges also present to give his or her input into the psychology, the dynamics that are involved here. Basically, the theme is, folks, do what's in the best interest of the kids, because ultimately that's what the judge is going to do. He or she is not going to particularly care much about what mom wants or what dad wants. The judge is going to order, ultimately, at the end of the day, what is in the best interest of these children. And there's also a videotape presentation as part of that education program.
Now, in some cases, you appoint, or the people asked that you appoint a guardian ad litem for the
Correct.
children. Could you just describe what that is?
The guardian ad litem is one of the tools in what I call the toolbox that family court judges have available to get information to make an informed decision as to what is in the best interest of the children regarding custody and parenting time. Sometimes I will appoint a guardian ad litem without being asked to, in other words, on my own because I think it's the right thing to do, or I'll be specifically asked by one or both attorneys to do that. And we have an ever-expanding list of attorneys that we refer to appoint into that role. Their function is to interview the parents, interview and access health records, school records, meet with the children's teachers if that's appropriate,
Right.
meet with the children's physicians, pediatricians if that's appropriate, meet with the children themselves, with and without the parents present, and basically get a feel for what's going on in the case.
And they report to you.
And they report back to the court
Right.
with a written report as to what their perception is of what's happening, what mom and dad have to say, what the teachers have to say, what the children have to say, what their best sense is after having reviewed all this information and the other records in the court file, and coming up with recommendations that are usually quite good and very well thought out to help the court.
Now, most cases settle.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And I tell my clients that have custody disputes, settle, because the judge is going to probably award everybody alternate weekends from maybe Friday to Monday, and then maybe at least an overnight during the week, and maybe a dinner, and you're still going to be able to go to all the children's activities and sporting events. And so what are you fighting over? Maybe 1 or 2 evenings a week at max. So do you want to put your family through that? That's the advice that I give my clients. Now, in the remaining 1 minute I think that we have in the show, what advice would you give to everybody out there that might have a custody dispute? How would you tell them to approach it?
I would say the sooner that you can put aside the things that you are angry about with your spouse, the better off you'll be. At the end of the case, there's going to be a decision. That decision can happen 18 months out, it can happen 12 months out, or it can happen tomorrow. If you are able to you're at the point where you've resolved to move forward, get on with the rest of your life, allow your spouse to get on with the rest of his or her life, and understand that ultimately at the end of the day, the court's going to make a decision. If you can't, and I try to communicate to the parents, I would rather have a resolution where the parents have been the co-authors of the custody and parenting plan, because it will be more effective,
right,
and it will work better for them and the children if they've been able to work it out between themselves.
Judge McGovern, thank you very much for being on the show tonight.
Mark, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You've just been watching LawTalkToday.tv. I'm Mark Gruber, your host. Thank you for watching, and join us next week.